With the gap between 3rd and 7th place being the smallest at this stage in Premier League history, the race for Champions League qualification is unlike anything we've seen before. It's unprecedented. Before this season, the closest margin between the 3rd and 7th place teams after matchday 33 was 7 points. But this year, that gap stands at just 4 points. So, what's happening at the top of the Premier League table? Over recent weeks, the gap between 7th and 8th place has widened to form something of a mini-league, with just 5 points separating Newcastle in 3rd and Aston Villa in 7th. It's a record-breaking season, and brilliantly timed too, because, for the first time, the Premier League's top 5 will all qualify for the Champions League. Liverpool, of course, have already secured their spot, while Arsenal, sitting 2nd and 7 points clear of Chelsea in 5th, are practically guaranteed one too. This leaves a fierce competition among 5 clubs vying for the 3 remaining places, making the final stretch of this season particularly exciting. Historically, the seasons with the smallest gaps between 3rd and 7th at this stage were 93 to 94, 95 to 96, 97 to 98, 2000 to 2001, and now, with a big jump in time and table compression, 2024 to 25. As you can see, these close races occurred during the Premier League's first decade of existence, when financial disparities were less pronounced and there was more competitive balance. In the following 2 decades, the league indeed saw a more predictable pattern with the same few clubs dominating, notably the Big Six. This season, however, marks a shift back towards a more open field. While the doom and gloom hanging over Big Six clubs like United and Spurs illustrates a particularly drastic season of change, their decline has been building over time. In fact, the Big Six have only finished as the top 6 just once in the last 5 seasons. Recent surprise packages in the top 4 include Newcastle, who finished 4th in the 2022-23 season and secured a return to the Champions League after a 20-year absence. Aston Villa followed suit the following season by edging out Tottenham to claim the last Champions League spot. Fast forward to this season, and more than a handful of mid-table clubs have risen above their usual standings, thanks to their bold playing styles, smart recruitment strategies, and faith in their manager's vision. As a result, the top half of the table is more interesting than it has been since the 1990s, and more meaningful too. Until the 96-97 season, only the champions qualified for the Champions League before it began to include the runners-up. It wasn't until 98-99 that the top 3 teams qualified, and only in 2001-2 did that number rise to 4. So, while the tables may have appeared competitive in the 1990s, there wasn't as much at stake as now, especially with the lucrative deals associated with Champions League participation nowadays. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. Among the 5 clubs between 3rd and 7th place, there isn't too much separating them in terms of quality or form. Looking back over the entire season, Forest appear best placed to join Liverpool and Arsenal in the Champions League next season. After all, from matchday 10 onwards, as the table began to settle, they have been in the top 5 longer than any other team, followed by Chelsea and Manchester City. However, there's a subtle, eerie feeling that teams positioned in the top 5 for the longest seem to be the most vulnerable. Before matchday 33, Forest had won just 3 of their previous 8 Premier League matches as fatigue began to set in. Back-to-back defeats to Aston Villa and Everton had seen Nuno Espirito Santos' side slip to 6th place and into a state of slight dismay. But just when they needed to rediscover their form, Forest delivered with what might have been their most characteristic performance of the season, where they won 2-1 away against Tottenham despite recording an expected goals of 0.48 and a goals against of 2.14. It wasn't so much their league position that boosted morale, but the reminder of what they're capable of when playing with the identity and mentality that Nuno has instilled in the team. Referring back to the teams that have spent the most match days in the top 5 this season, Aston Villa fans might have cause for concern. However, there is evidence to suggest we should overlook this past trend. After all, Unai Emery's side have surged up the table in recent weeks, winning 10 of their last 13 matches in all competitions. With a deep squad that the head coach has expertly rotated, Villa are many pundits' favourites to make the top 5. The freedom to choose between players like Marcus Rashford and Ollie Watkins, or between Ian Maatsen and Lucas Digne, for example, means even a rotated Villa side features players capable of winning matches, which will be crucial given they will likely need to win at least 3 of their last 4 league games. To watch our video debating whether the Premier League's Big Six era is truly over, click the first link in the description or the card in the top right corner. City seemed the most consistently steady of the lot, recently rising to impressive levels with a 7-match unbeaten run culminating in that confidence-building late win against Villa. In fact, they have earned more points in their last 5 matches than any of their rivals, while only Villa have accrued more over the previous 10. Right now, this is as good as City have been for months. Guardiola has instructed his team to be stable and compact, allowing them to control matches like they used to. Although their football hasn't always been sparkling, it has certainly been functional, something City haven't experienced for a long time. Newcastle are also in good form. An absence of European football this season has kept them fresh, and with just 1 game per week for the remainder of the season, they can expect a strong showing in the final games. Having won 20 of their past 26 matches across all competitions, they certainly have the long-term form to achieve that. Last but perhaps least, Chelsea have slowed down as the campaign progressed. With just 27 points gained from a possible 54 in their last 18 league matches, they will need a major turnaround to maintain their grip on a top 5 finish. Enzo Maresca's team may be feeling better after coming from behind to beat Fulham. However, their path to a top 5 finish remains daunting, with 2 remaining home games coming against Liverpool and Manchester United, along with away matches against Newcastle and Forest. Maresca's assertion that Chelsea's season should be viewed as a success even without Champions League qualification is not shared by most supporters or many within the club. Given how heavy Maresca's team has looked recently, coupled with the distraction of the UEFA Conference League, Chelsea are not favoured by many to secure a top 5 finish. After City's 2-1 victory over Villa, a pivotal moment that swung momentum in Guardiola's favour, we just have 2 more head-to-head matchups between clubs vying for a place between 3rd and 5th. Overall, the fixtures look favourable for Villa, Forest and Man City. Villa have completed their tough outings and should be able to regain momentum against Fulham and Bournemouth before finishing against Spurs and United, both of whom may prioritise Europa League action. Forest, meanwhile, don't face anyone in the top 10 until the crucial final day visit of Chelsea. However, this could be a double-edged sword, as Forest's tendency to play on the counter might be stifled by the more reactive, low-block style of bottom-half teams. Yet, with outsiders in better form than they have been in a long time, the final table could still look very different come the end of this season. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.